everybody! It's Thursday, and it's the What If Roundtable. The real what if is the friends we made along the way. I'm MasakoX, and joining me is Sophie B.
Hello.
But unfortunately, we do not have a Haverock today. He had to take a day off today. But we wish him very well, and we look forward to hearing his dulcet tones again. But he was certainly talking to me about the latest manga chapter today, and certainly something else. But again, we're not going to be talking about that today. No spoilers here. That's not what we do here. But either way, we do have our moderators standing by, Sophie, Red Dragon, and hopefully you might see a Meg. But we do have moderators standing by to offer you a chance to super chat if you're not able to do so, if it's not available in your own country, or you can do super chats in your own country if you can. It does help support the channel, and it does provide me a really good, accurate list, so I can see who's actually been able to do so, and I can actually see all of your questions so we can get to them, because we do get quite a lot. So either way, you can just leave a super chat with whatever you can, and there you go. So let's move on with Dark Snake X5, already with a $100 super chat to start off with. Amazing. Thank you so much, Dark Snake. Hey, Masako, like the Christmas ranch design I just bought me the wallpaper for my phone and computer. I'd like to see more holiday design merch in the future if possible. I'd like to see a Valentine one with Ranch being shy with giving Trunks chocolate or bold with it. Aw, that'd be sweet. That'd be cute. Awkward preteen romance.
Yeah, that would be cute.
Yo.
Hey, maybe that's a good idea for one of those mini manga bits that you've done.
Yeah.
For the series, you could do a little slice of life thing with Ranch trying to figure out how to make and give the chocolate to Trunks.
Yeah. Well, actually, in a way, episode 8 is similar in that Trunks has to find her a birthday present. So it is kind of cute in that way. But it's cute. We are doing a mini-sode. We got a mini-sode coming out in December for R&R. So we'll have like some extra content. So hopefully if we can do some more of those mini-sodes with a separate artist, then that can easily fill the time between the mainline episodes. So we're looking forward to that. But also, but speaking of which, in the merch, you can check out the pinned message on the super chat, so where you can get the holiday limited edition merch. That way, we have it available until the Christmas Eve, and then it's gone. That design will be gone for good. So you better make it quick. Alright, so we start things off with the list with a manifesto. And they ask, what if Good Boy Frost got a form called Diamond Frost? Also, DB fans, start fan ideas on that now. Do you have any design ideas for it, Masako? Oh yeah, it'd have to be very shiny. Kind of almost like a quartz sheen to it. And I would imagine that in terms of his persona, he basically would be something, I'd almost like him having a thing called the Hope Shot after the Hope Diamond. They'd have to be based around, his attack names would have to then be derived around precious stones. So I think around those lines, but I think it could be something different to what we expect. What about you, Soph?
I wouldn't know really when it comes to Good Boy Frost, but I think Diamond Frost. I could picture a few different ideas for it. I mean, you obviously have Golden Frieza to kind of base it off of. Golden Frieza definitely looks like he's been fully plated out in gold, so maybe you'd wind up with an effect kind of similar to characters like Emma Frost. In fact, in the Marvel comics,
oh yeah,
like who can turn her skin to diamond, and that might be an interesting little idea there to take the aspects of, like, say the Frieza transformation and apply a sort of diamond coat to all of the areas where the gold would be instead. I think that Frost would have a difficult time of achieving that form, considering that he very much is of that same Frieza mindset, and because he's more cowardly than Frieza is, I don't think that he has as much inclination to train. But if something were to happen, your Good Boy Frost what if's probably the best scenario for it.
Okay.
If something were to happen, that's probably how I see it going.
All right, cool. No, that's definitely good. We So with Papa Podo saying, "What if Frieza met Cashman during an Earth visit?" And that is a real deep cut. I had to actually look it up to remind myself. And Cashman's like an SPD parody almost of Frieza. Like he's like a cop. So it's something like from Super Sentai. And apparently his police crew boss has made a cameo in the Super manga. So Toyotaro was very much aware of it. So made a nice little cameo in there. I imagine probably there'd be like a proper ridiculous Super Sentai battle. And I think Frieza would actually enjoy it. You'd actually be quite compelled to see a person that looks like him on Earth already and living there. And being such a goody-goody. But yeah, Viper Phoenix now. Monkey and Slug, the movie. Join the entire gang, Goku, Raditz, Nappa, Vegeta, Piccolo, and Slug, as they race against time to prevent bombs from going off in coffee shops all over the galaxy. Monkey and Slug, the movie. I always like these. Manifesto again. What if future Gohan in Mastered Ultra Instinct fought Mastered Ultra Instinct Moro? Moro's still got the arm and the angel powers. Would Gohan have finished him off properly like MUI Goku? Probably, yeah. I would say so. Like, as in, like, Gohan, after many experiences of being cocky, I think he would actually get the job done. It would be a nice little kind of lampshade for that. Like, he got cocky during Cell. He got cocky during Boo. Now with Moro, don't. Third time's the charm.
I always felt like the cockiness in the Boo saga was so out of place as well. It really, yeah, his characterization seemed really odd and hit or miss at that point, and I largely felt like the cockiness was a narrative excuse to make it so that Gohan wouldn't defeat him outright. I honestly think that if you were to give Gohan an Ultra Instinct form, especially if it's future Gohan, right, who really just wants to be able to end conflicts because of like his past with the androids and stuff like that. If you were to give future Gohan Mastered Ultra Instinct, I mean, the key word there being instinct, I think his instincts would be defeat the enemy to prevent death and suffering as quickly as possible, right?
Yeah.
So
no, I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, as in it's meant to be like along those lines, so definitely. And Dark Snake X dropping another $50 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Hey, after the last episode of R&R, you could do a Christmas special where a bad guy goes after Santa to steal his Merry Energy. So you can fight Beerus, because Merry Energy is immune to Hakai, and it's up to Ranch, Trunks, and Goten to stop him. Well, on Boo, we're actually just after the Boo saga, so Beerus hasn't actually shown up in R&R yet. But I could maybe do a little, like, kind of audio thing with Ranch and Raditz. Maybe do something along those lines. I can cook up, like, a 2-minute special or something like that. Or, if you want to have some adult Ranch fan service or something along those lines, basically, like, you know, like, you just have, like, this whole, the ghost of Christmas future is adult Ranch. So basically, so just have it along those lines. And it's just like,
what if,
oh god.
What if because here's the thing that I find curious is I'm really getting stuck on the fact that they're like Merry Energy is immune to Hakai, which would kind of imply that would be like a sort of opposing force kind of scenario. What if Santa Claus and people like him were in fact an offshoot of like of the Kais, demigods of a sort, and they were like demigods of creation, and so Santa is essentially part of the pantheon of the universe of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, no, that could be funny. I okay. If I get some time, I'll have a little bit of time at the beginning of the month. I'll cook something up, as it were. Okay, let's see. But yeah, thank you so much, Dark Snake. Viper Phoenix now. Boo has 3 wishes he can never do. Never master. 1. Boo Bruno can turn stuff into anything but candy. Number 2, Bruno fall in love. 3, Bruno can get angry. It's not a pretty picture. And then Super Boo voice. Bruno like doing it. Viper Phoenix. You ever stop to realize that the Majin Buu arc with Kid Buu and Oob is just another retelling of the King Piccolo arc? Think about it. Buu equals King Piccolo. Oob equals Piccolo Jr. Mr. Buu equals Kami. They even fuse in GT. What? Oh. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
The story
Maju.
beats are there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just gotta check my them. Okay.
Interesting thing when it comes to the whole Majin Buu arc with Kid Buu and Oob. It really is. It really is a rehash, and I think that this is kind of a recurring problem that we're seeing, especially now that we're getting into an alternative sort of future storyline with stuff like the manga and the current moral arc. Is that a lot of the folks, Toriyama included, behind the Dragon Ball label, they take to rehashing plot points so often, and I don't want to be super cynical about the reason for it, but it strikes me as incredibly odd that it seems like there's a real consistency to it that I don't really see it as much in other anime. This whole thing with so many plot lines that, like, you know, quote unquote call back to previous plot lines, when in fact, if you break it down, they're more or less just reusing and redoing and stealing the earlier plots.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And so with everyone complaining about Toyotaro, you know, it just feels like, well, remember, this isn't like, it's not it's nothing new, as it were.
Oh, it's definitely not. It's definitely nothing new. Toriyama has already done it before with his own work. The Toei, obviously, one of the big things that they would do is basically, you know, all of the old movies were essentially rehashing the plot of the anime manga plot line, but with different villains and stuff like that. You know, you have every single one of them mirrors in some way one or more arcs that are currently going or have recently finished up in the series. So people involved with Dragon Ball have already had this tendency of consistently going back and reusing plot lines, and it's kind of frustrating because this is a universe that's really ripe for interesting stories, interesting narratives, and new ideas, and they just keep going back to the old stuff. Like it feels almost lazy, and I really don't want to be cynical about it and say that it is lazy and they're just trying to cash in on ideas that they know worked in the past. But it's hard not to think so when they do it so consistently.
Yeah, you feel like any other series, people would have actually said something, but, you know, we kind of sort of just put up with it. It's just odd. It's just very odd indeed. Anyway, Paparaj is next. What if the different Saiyans, Uzaru forms and tails were based on different species of monkey? You know what? That would actually be really good. It would actually show up a little bit, it would actually just make it a little bit more diverse. Like, some of the bigger monkeys are like bigger Saiyans are like gorillas. The smaller ones, like beasts, are kind of like macaques or chimpanzees or something like that. You had variety. So you had, like, with Titans, like, you'd have the big Crusader Titan, you'd have the Attack Titans, you'd have all these different types of Uzaru for whatever you need, like Scout Uzarus, the big hulking beast with 20 times multiplier, smaller ones maybe just 5 times, you know. But then again, Toriyama is not well known for doing complex stuff. I think
Yeah.
if Toyotaro was doing this, had started this from the beginning, I think he would have done that because he would have seen Attack on Titan and go like, "Ooh, I like that."
It kind of also reminds me of like there's a tabletop RPG called The World of Darkness. It's where famous RPG scenario settings like Vampire the Masquerade come from. And one of the things in World of Darkness is werewolf. And whether you're going by Werewolf the Forsaken or Werewolf the I'm trying to remember what the other one was, the Apocalypse, I believe. There's this whole thing where different werewolves have like different forms, different transformations, different styles, depending upon what stage of the moon they were exposed to for their transformation. And like, wouldn't it be interesting to see something similar like that to in the Saiyans, right? Yeah. Not just forms with different physical differences, but like even like the level of Bloodwave radiation that it takes to transform them. Like certain Saiyans only transform during the crescent moon as opposed to the full moon, and etc.
No. I mean, and it's not oppressive. It's not nothing new in Dragon Ball because they talk about the quality of Bloodwaves with the Bloodwaves canon and stuff like that. So it does occur. Anyway, Sam Hennis is now. Hi team, hope all is well. Thanks, Sam. What if Piccolo's Namekian fusion was not exclusive to other Namekians and he could join someone like, say, Pycon or Hit? Okay. Well, considering that in theory with Dragon Ball Super, the fusion Namekian fusion can be temporary because all the people of Universe 6's Namek became Salmel and Pilina, like fused with them. So in theory, they can separate. So I wouldn't be surprised if Piccolo could do that with Gohan, like in the tournament. So that means they could be one entry or something like that. Or if they wanted to fuse together, if it were possible. Because they are so linked in that way. Yeah, I would have done that if it was a thing. But I would say, it would give Piccolo, again, an extra tool, as it were.
Oh my gosh, that makes me the fact that you mentioned that fusion and stuff like that, and then mentioning stuff like the Tournament of Power, it makes me think about the fact that fusion gets overlooked for pretty much everyone except the Saiyans nowadays. You wind up focusing on like Kale and Caulifla or Vegeta and Goku, right? When it's like, dude, wouldn't it have been interesting, cool, even more effective, even if like somebody had offered to give Tien and Krillin Potara earrings, for example, so that they would be more potent in the Tournament of Power?
Yeah,
and it's like, let's see more fusion with anyone other than the Saiyans. Stop giving everything to the Saiyans.
and not just in the video games.
Yes.
Yes, please. Anyway. Manifesto. Unicron arrives on Earth. Moro, I would like a word with you. Moro. What? I'm not the only planet eater for... I say, what? I'm not the only planet eater for God's sake. Got a problem with that?
No.
And Galactus. Hey guys. So it's like, room for one more.
And then Darth Nihilus from the KOTOR games shows up, just screeching and whisper speaking without subtitles.
Indeed. Okay, Pamparacha. What if Tao turned good? A.K.A. what if the Red Ribbons check bounce, he went after them? Oh yeah, absolutely. To be honest, I could see that happening with Commander Red. That his, basically, he's on to this, and then Check comes in and says, excuse me, Commander, but I have some grievances to share with you. Your check bounced. And it's like, I don't care. I'll get you the money. Until you get the money. As far as I'm concerned, you are a target. Oh, I'm sorry, but the chum that we have for playing Tao in R&R is just so good. I can't wait to share that. Okay. Papa Podo. What if, as a last humiliation for the king, Beerus seduced Cassava and she ended up having one more kid the old-fashioned way as a result? Frieza knows.
Excuse me?
I'm
Excuse
sorry,
me?
that's a new one.
Why?
I had to play. I'm sorry, that's a new one. So it's like, oh my.
This is a Papa Poto question. Yes, it is a Papa Poto question.
It's a Papa Poto question.
Yes, yes, Poto, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Why would Beerus? Why? My mind is broken. Why would this happen?
Oh, I mean, I can sort of see. I can see. Yeah, it's just awful. I mean, I can sort of see why. In that he wants to basically screw around with King Vegeta. It's like, hey, King Vegeta, look what I'm doing. Or who should I say, who I'm doing?
Look what I'm doing. What the hell, Moss?
The Beerus doesn't. Beerus hates the Saiyans, right? At that time.
Oh my god. The images in my head are horrible right now, God.
No. Of course
Guys,
not. No.
Damn you.
Realistically, it's going to be more along the lines of like basically Beerus kind of sorts of in like base. I don't know. But like maybe just like tries to throw some corruption and maybe even implies that she's been sleeping around, not actually doing it, but basically said.
But here's the thing: is that the question explicitly says having one more kid the old-fashioned way, and Frieza knows whose it is, and so it's like, okay, well, first off, okay, I guess then you get a Catboy Saiyan hybrid, or Catgirl Saiyan hybrid. You basically wind up with Boggy, the nature's monster, in the world of Dragon Ball. But I can't. I can't. It's why? Why?
I think this is what we signed up for in a way, Soph.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. No, you don't get Nekomajin Pod Paracha.
I'm gonna have to play the sound for that. It's just like, oh man, I'm gonna have to. Come on, Big Green Bardock, where are you? We need you to. There we go. Let's move on. Manifesto. Madara Uchiha arrives in Susanoo form. Son Goku, I would like a word with you. Goku. Huh? What did I do? I think you know exactly what you did. Oh, Manifesto, you're just like Doctor Strange, as in going, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. It's like, it just adds in all these things. All right, Sam Hennis, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought there has not been any Super Saiyans that still have their tails in canon. What if that was the key to achieving the legendary Super Saiyan form with some even greater power? Well, actually, in episode of Bardock, Bardock does have his tail.
Well, episode of Bardock is not canon.
I know,
but there is a canon. There is now a canon Saiyan who still has their tail that has gone Super Saiyan, and that's New Broly. The thing about that is that there's a very, very good chance that Toriyama, if it had ever been intentional that only Saiyans without tails could actually achieve Super Saiyan for whatever reason, which would make sense after a fashion. Chances are Toriyama's forgot that he'd ever had that plot point anymore.
Chances are.
And Broly can now go Super Saiyan, and his Super Saiyan, we've all seen how much more potent and stuff it is like that. So his may even be on a different sort of level of transformation because of his unique situation. But I would probably back in the day, like years ago, back before Dragon Ball Super really kind of got into it, and before DBS Broly was a thing, I had actually written a short essay on just for the fun of it. I wrote a short essay on my theory about how Saiyan evolution basically was leading up to the loss of the tail anyway, which has kind of been proven, so to speak, with the Universe 6 Saiyans in DB Super. But Saiyan evolution was kind of leading up to the loss of the tail, and that it's kind of part of the stress aspect of seeing their potential reached, I think, because most of the Saiyans only actually get like their largest gains when they lose their tail for a certain amount of time. Like there was a long period of time where Goku was training with Master Roshi in Dragon Ball where he didn't have his tail.
Yeah.
When Gohan trained with Piccolo, Piccolo had removed his tail. Vegeta didn't make any super huge gains in his life until he lost his tail after the battle on Earth. And then it was like enormous leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's a very interesting theory, and I think it might have been relevant once, but now it's been so long that I feel like Toriyama's probably forgotten it.
It's just such the way with a lot of these things. We just have to say, well, Toriyama probably forgot. So, yeah, that's it's too common, I'm afraid. Manifesto again. What if the Saiyans were based after the cats or big cats instead of monkeys? Would they change it to giant beasts a different way, perhaps? You basically would just have giant Thundercats.
Oh gosh, Thundercats.
But either way, probably you just have a different collection of different kind of wild, big cats and like wild animals and stuff. But I don't know. Big cats don't necessarily scream to me, aggressive warriors. Unless of course it's Thundercats.
Well, the thing about that too is if it was a cat-like transformation, I also think it would tone down the fear factor. Okay. Because there's something about monkeys and apes that really, and I think it might be kind of related to sort of the uncanny valley effect of them being relatives of humanity in general, that seeing apes, seeing monkeys, and especially seeing them like freak out and in a rage is actually super terrifying, and a lot of people react incredibly negatively to that sort of thing. Whereas cats, even terrifying, hunter predators like tigers and stuff like that, usually a human looks at it and just like, so majestic, sort of situation. I feel like if the Saiyans were cat people, or even any of those other animals that are so frequently associated with pets or other things like that, they wouldn't be nearly as terrifying in their execution when it comes to their transformations and stuff.
Yeah, it's just that's exactly. It just feels like that's not necessarily the right preconception that we all have. So no, I definitely agree there. Dark Snake. I said that last week about a ranch having a thing for Mai, but I was talking about when they're older, and I'd like to have a discussion about Mai if possible. Well, I feel like nothing would really be changed if they were older, but unless they basically, I imagine probably when they're older. I mean, adult ranch is much more chill, and I always imagine like everyone thinks, oh, she's gonna end up basically being like Launch, sort of, but not really. She basically just becomes a prankster and basically quite gregarious like Raditz. So everyone thinks, oh, she's just going to be like a mommy, but not really. I can imagine basically Raditz and Ranch playing pranks on Goku, and they're just like laughing their asses off.
Well, and like, while I'm here for the women loving women solidarity as well, there's a lot of complications to any relationship involving Mai. So regardless of how Ranch grows up, whether she turns out like her mother, or whether she's more chill than that and takes more after her father, or is just her own person, and her personality eventually develops beyond either of those two things. Mai as a love interest for any character is really hampered by the fact that the narrative has put her in an awkward position due to her age. Now, obviously, there's all those things to talk about that we've considered before in the past, like just how much her mind is affected by the change, all that other kind of stuff. And ultimately, if anybody who were to hook up with Mai was already an adult and knew, that would be a different story. It's part of the reason why I think the issue with shipping Mai with anyone in the manga or the anime at the moment is kind of awkward as well, is because nobody except like the people who knew the Pilaf gang before is even aware of the fact that they're aged down older people. Because like Bulma, and even then it's kind of implied that even they may not truly comprehend that these are like their old villains, right? Like the way that Bulma interacts with them, it almost seems like she doesn't think that they're the old, you know, Pilaf gang. So nobody bothers to tell anyone, and I feel like Trunks would feel differently if he found out that he was crushing on a 50 or 60-year-old, and I feel like Mai would probably be in a similar position. But if they're adults, they know about everything, and they've basically built up some kind of relationship, some kind of friendship, and then made that decision, then yeah, there's not really nearly as much of a problem with it.
I think so. Sam Hennis, what if Super do turn good the same way he did before? Absorbing Goku in his pure heart being the final catalyst and making him not evil. I suppose really that might be the ultimate thing to kind of almost like get Goku out of the story, and Goku making a sacrifice to try and like nullify the situation. So I'd probably like, it would be enough to kind of neutralize Boo, because you have good Boo inside, you have innocent Boo, and then you have Goku. So you need to find a way that maybe Goku sort of willingly is absorbed until the point where basically everyone can then strengthen up to get stronger than him and then rescue him. So that would be my thing, is that they'd use that time to train and then basically just jump Super Boo, and then you can pull Goku out and then basically blast him. But then, at the same time, you think you're doing that, but then Boo actually becomes... the goodness is then spews into Boo, and he then becomes inherently like it without even needing the catalyst. So that could easily be a good thing. Okay, Manifesto. Fans asked Toyotaro for more slice of life in Dragon Ball. And Toyotaro does the opposite, lol. More Saiyan fights. More! Well, basically, it's like, it's more like, it's like Kylo Ren. More! More! Yeah, more! But the thing is, though, is that Toyotaro is good with the slice of life when they do it. So, you know, that's definitely a thing. Yeah, it's a weird paradox. Yeah. Wow, we got a lot of super chats today. We better get through all of these, otherwise we won't have enough time.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. All right. So Papa Podo. When I was planning out my DBX Undertale what if, there was one thing I completely forgot about that I only just realized. What dark fate will befall the surface world when the Temmies are unleashed upon it? Well,
utter chaos. The economy will collapse entirely because people will be buying and selling from the Temmies just the most stupid things, and driving prices of goods up all over the place because Timmy just can't help themselves, even though they're saving up their muns for Kool Egg.
Yeah, the Kool Egg industry will actually do fantastically. That's the only industry that will do well.
All of the Timmies will finally be able to go to college, except they won't, because their money will keep getting taken from them because people will sell them things that they think they want, even though it's just junk.
Oh. Alright, Manifesto. What if Silver, not Mecha Cooler, enacted the Tree of Might plan with Turles under his command, and the movie took place on the planet just before Earth? It depends on what planet it is, because it's implied that the Tree of Might was, like, not as potent on other planets. Like, they've had to go to many planets to even get close to 19,000 for Turles, and that Earth was a prime candidate. So, it really depends. It really depends on what planet they end up on, whether it's actually substantial enough to actually get good gains. But I can imagine certainly Cooler being like an overseer Like, he is the overseer that you don't see again until movie 5. Like, he's that mysterious benefactor for Turles. So when Turles gets destroyed, you hear Cooler going, seems like I might have to do this myself one day. And then you think, ooh, foreshadowing. That'd be good. That'd be a nice little connection from movie 3 to 5. Craig Twitchell, what if the Saiyans were werecats instead of weremonkeys? Well, we sort of actually got this, and Sophie said really well that it was along the lines of that you don't really get that feeling of, like, you know, aggressive warrior from a cat. It just doesn't really sit well.
And the abject terror. The abject terror that kind of stems from the uncanny valley of the monkeys and apes, as opposed to the majestic sort of beauty and grace of a cat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it just feels like you really need to, like, I just feel like with cats, it's just a bit of an unusual concept. Sam Hennis, what if Vegeta gained respect and admiration for Goku after he turned Super Saiyan against Frieza, and as a sign of respect, he trained Gohan as his mentor? Well, for a brief split second, he did sort of, like, respect Kakarot, because he did go, Kakarot, you old dog! As in, like, he was kind of proud in the heat of the battle with Frieza. But that didn't last very long, of course, because then he just probably realized, I'm not the legendary Super Saiyan. Damn it! And he took his anger out on Gohan because, you know, Gohan was there. But I would imagine if that were to change around something like that, I probably would say that if he did do that, then probably it'd be a lot less angst, and Vegeta would be more of a team player. Let's just say that. Manifesto. Vegeta. I will gain victory in the next chapter. I don't know which chapter you're talking about. But either way, another chance for victory for Vegeta! Alright, Craig Twitchell. What if
Place your bets, folks. Place your bets. Is Vegeta going to actually achieve victory, or is it going to be taken from him? Place your bets.
Oh, is it going to be both? It might be the assist, folks. Alright, Craig Twitchell. What if King Furry played a bigger role in the series? Well, I don't really know. He can't really speak English. Most of the time say, King Furry, what shall we do, old master? Brr. That's a good idea, sir. Brr. It really did. Since having a pupper, the way they talk is just so... I didn't expect it. Alright, okay. Benjamin 2000. What if planet Vegeta and planet Earth are in the same solar system, in the same orbit, but at opposite Lagrange points, i.e. the sun is between them? Well, I think the planet Vegeta would have found Earth before, but considering their power levels and stuff like that, I play bad ending. I play the think about it. They're semi-sentient, they're very, very weak, and their technology is decent. But again, if it happened like much sooner, then they would have just taken over the Earth. Like, it's easy pickings in their own solar system. So, planet Earth would have ended up being a satellite system for planet Vegeta. So,
I'm kind of curious what that would mean, especially considering the relation as far as where you would want to place the planet Vegeta on. Like, would they basically be sharing the orbit, but at opposite Lagrange? Okay, so since it says they're in the same orbit but at opposite Lagrange points, it means that they're always on the opposite end of the sun, meaning that until people were actually able to explore beyond the limitations of the planet itself, right, you'd never even see the planet because the sun would always be in the way. So they could have gone the entirety of, you know, known civilization until people managed to get out into space and you could put a telescope somewhere other than Earth, thinking that there wasn't a planet sharing their orbit. But here's the thing: is I'm curious what kind of effect that would have on the solar system as a whole. Just considering the fact that Vegeta as a planet would have to be 10 times more. It would have to have 10 times more mass than Earth. It would have to. And then, of course, you'd be sitting there wondering, like, okay, well, how is this going to affect the narrative? Like, with the fact that, like, they're taken over by the Frieza Force. Would that mean that Frieza would actually have already taken over Earth? there's a lot of questions raised by a scenario like this.
Yeah, it does. Because surely, with a bigger planet like that, it would have some kind of influence on the gravitational system of the solar system. It just would have to. Okay, Paparacha. What if Roshi Jackie Chun was Earth's champion? Well, I imagine probably he would have just become a recluse, because that's what happened with Goku. Goku won the 23rd the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, and he didn't become a celebrity, nor did Ten Shinhan. So, I imagine probably that. Well, hang on. He was the 21st World Martial Arts champion, wasn't he? Because it was Jackie Chun versus Goku in the final, wasn't it?
And that was in which one?
The 21st one, so the very first one.
Yeah, because it was Jackie Chun in the one that Jackie Chun ultimately won. It was Jackie Chun and Goku in the final, and I feel like just a kid getting to the final would probably be enough to make that kid famous to some degree.
Yeah. But I suppose the question would be is if he acted like Earth's champion. Well, he would certainly get the ladies, but he would pretty much end up with a lot of sexual harassment lawsuits after that.
Well, and he did kind of try to be Earth's champion after a fashion in the Piccolo Daimao arc. Because he was like, oh well, it was my master Mutaito who sealed away King Piccolo the last time, so this is kind of this is my responsibility. I know the technique. I should be the one to do this. But between his age and the fact that King Piccolo had learned a means of avoiding being sealed away by the Mafuba, he kind of fails. And I feel like that probably led Roshi to not really pursue it anymore, because at that point he's probably like, defending the Earth is a young man's game, and I'm not young anymore, So that's probably the real breaking point for him. Is it's like becoming the champion of Earth kind of hinged on whether or not he could defeat Demon King Piccolo, and even then, performing the Mafuba back then was deadly for him. So even if he had succeeded in sealing King Piccolo away, he would have still died in that moment.
Well, I think at the very least, he would have been incapacitated. Like, he would be done, like barely hanging on to life, if he was lucky.
Yeah.
If he was lucky. Okay, right. Sam. What if Kami wished for youth before joining with Piccolo? How much of an increase would the power gain be? Well, it's a bit precarious, but if he did, I imagine probably there would be a slight increase. But the thing is, though, is I think it doesn't really matter how old they are or how old Kami is. But yeah, it's just the whole synchronicity with Piccolo would be enough to kind of override any sort of age limit almost. But say for argument's sake, I think probably it would be enough to actually properly body Imperfect Cell, like really give him some trouble. But it would be a bit too convenient, almost.
Yeah, I feel as though making a wish for youth wouldn't actually have all that much in the way of gains for the fusion. Like becoming young and then immediately doing the fusion, I don't feel like you'd get hardly any gain at all just from that, because the youth itself doesn't give a whole lot of extra raw power. It makes it so that your body is easier to be, because the problem with the age isn't about the energy or the power or anything like that. It's more that your body, because your body's breaking down, it's harder to do the things that you already have the potential to do, right? So he'd be better at doing the things he already has the potential to do with a more youthful body. But the primary purpose of getting a more youthful body would be so that he could train it up before that happens. So I think the gains would be minor unless he took some kind of pains to attempt an increase in gains before the event.
Yeah, I'd say so. All right, Vulcan up next. It's what if Yami and Spopovich were in the Nappa what if? And what? Okay, there's 3. What if Yami and Spopovich were in the Nappa what if? Probably they would have been absolutely bodied again. They probably would have been even less useful because Nappa would have been onto them. What if Bardock's team survived? You can check that out in my What If Bardock Defeated Frieza What If, the second part of that coming out this weekend. And have you ever read the Erased Chronicles, the Gohan and Arasa story? Can't say that I have, but I will look it up. Thanks, Vulcan.
Is that a Gohan and Arasa like
no
that?
Oh no, it can't be. With that title,
is it
no.
pairing? Because that makes me curious because I don't if it's primarily a romantic story, then I want to link to that because I am here for the romance. If it's not, I still think I want to look at it just out of morbid curiosity to see how the pair was written.
Oh, okay. Manifesto. What if Future Trunks had Ghost Rider powers? Cool imagery? Well, just have the Trunks going, let's ride. Let's ride.
Oh my gosh.
And, you know, it's just like, well, certainly, yeah, Trunks would be on fire, literally.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine in the Goku Black arc, Future Trunks grabbing Zamasu or Goku Black by the lapels and using the what's it called, the penance stare, where he makes them face all of their sins.
Oh god, that would make Zamasu's head explode. Or like, you know. And it's a mortal body, so probably it would send Goku Black crazy.
It only works if they feel guilty. No. As long as they have a soul that can experience the guilt of those sins.
And Zamasu technically can.
Zamasu technically does have a soul. He may be a god, but he's not soulless.
Yes.
You know, so I feel as though it's a different scenario than, like, say, when Ghost Rider tried to look into the make the Antichrist feel the guilt of the sins.
Yeah. Dan the Shermanator. What if Dr. Gero made Android 16 a bio-android like Cell? I'm interested in how Android 16 would act with the extra power and lack of Cell. Probably there would have to be a different way that he absorbed people, because you couldn't necessarily drink people like he does with Cell. It'd be a bit weird rather than creepy. So probably it would be more of like almost like a ray or like a beacon, like a kind of like a traction beam or something like that. Some kind of way to, like, you know, incapacitate their target and then absorb through kind of like assimilation, something like that. Probably more sci-fi rather than creepy horror, but yeah, I'd say along those lines. Paparazzo. What if Commander Red used Jiro's cybernetics instead of Dragon Balls to become tall? Well, technically, he could have basically had his legs amputated and just been given, you know, robot legs. There you go. Or simply, Jiro in 5 minutes would have just given him stilts. Just like, you know, added like cups to his shoes. There you go. And it's like, that's amazing! I'm now so much taller! And it's like, Jiro, luckily he didn't realize it only took 10 minutes.
What's hilarious is that if all Commander Red really wanted was to be taller, he could have gone to Frapp or Jiro and requested to have cybernetic legs. It's pretty much that simple.
Yeah, it's simple as it's simple as that, really. It really is. All right, Gobi. What if Gohan, and by extension Future Gohan, developed unwanted appetitive aggression from his violent upbringing? Well, sort of like spoiling for a fight. Well, he probably would have been more willing to fight the androids more, as in like properly one-on-one, not holding back. Probably enough to like not necessarily incapacitate the androids, but certainly make them wary. As in like, hey, this guy's maybe not as strong as us, but he's unpredictable.
Yeah, so Masako, Gobi actually clarified as well that appetitive aggression is a form of biologically driven aggressive behavior that doesn't serve the purpose of resisting a threat, but implies finding a certain pleasure in the observation or perpetration of violence.
Thanks,
Basically,
Gobi.
basically, the question essentially becomes: what if Gohan, due to his upbringing, enjoyed causing people pain, or rather, enjoyed the perpetration of violence against others?
Yeah, but well, he wouldn't be much of a hero, that's for sure. Like the collateral damage.
He wouldn't be Gohan at that point. My poor boy.
Gohan. It would certainly squick anyone around him. Yeah. All right, George J. Really enjoyed your chill video this morning. Thank you. Do you think you could incorporate it into the Revelation F audio drama? Probably. It would be a nice little kind of little allusion to it, but the thing is though, not as many people will see it, so it will require a little bit of explanation. But I don't think this is something Hav and I are going to put on the back bench for the moment. This is not the last you'll hear of this, because we are definitely wanting to do more, because I feel like Chilled definitely has some more opportunities for stuff to say. Okay. So let's see. The autistic goldfish. When I asked you about crossover what-ifs, you mentioned one where Goku obtained a stand. How and when would he get it? And would everyone else get one? Probably not for the longest time in terms of actually retrieving one, because you sort of need to make the idea of having a stand in Dragon Ball a bit more, a bit more special. Sort of like with Super Saiyan at the beginning. But not for very long, of course, because you need to have a Super Saiyan bargain sale. I would probably say, like, it'd be more inadvertent, or it's something that he possessed all along to kind of really imply the legendary Super Saiyan. So maybe that legendary power is not necessarily Super Saiyan, but it's a legendary thing that sort of works together. So almost that legendary power once every 3,000 years, a Saiyan with basically a projection is enough to kind of like cause terror and reign supreme across the galaxy. So ultimately, it could be that, and Goku has a stand. Bibbidi bobbidi boom. But yeah, you certainly you'd want to make it quite exclusive and special. Craig Twitchell, what if Jiro, Nappa, Vegeta, and Frieza got fused with one of the Teletubbies?
I'm sorry, that's a new one.
I feel like we should almost save this super chat for the next time, because this is clearly a Haverock question, and he'll be so upset if we answer it without him.
If you say, make a note of this one, and then we will share this at the top of the next one with Hav.
Yes, because he.
And don't tell him we did this. Don't tell him we did this.
Oh no! Oh no! I put it in the thing.
Oh no!
Delete.
Okay.
I deleted it. Here, I'll post it in your DMs so that we won't forget.
Oh great! My DMs, they are now. Oh no! My DMs have now been soiled.
It's been soiled.
Oh no!
I soiled it.
Oh, all right. Paparacha. Actually, by the way, we're gonna do we'll have our call out point, our cutoff point in 5 minutes. So just so you know. Okay. Paparacha. What if Gohan won rock paper scissors and fought Pui Pui instead of Deborah? Well, I'd imagine probably it would have certainly made Vegeta have a bit more hope in his abilities and stuff like that. Like not necessarily being like thinking that he was too weak. I mean, he would still be like, huh, anyone could actually beat that guy. But it would certainly give Gohan a little bit of hope. Yeah, no, I would say so. Gobi. What if Chow Gardens existed on Earth, Vegeta and Namek, and even Vampa? Or what if Kid Buu had been reincarnated as a Chow?
Oh gosh.
Seriously, don't worry, buddy. Don't worry, buddy. Don't worry, buddy.
Oh no.
You just run around and just chuck Chow Buu all over the place just to see what would happen. God. And feed him pixie sticks. Papa Podo, what if you reviewed the Gia, Jarko, and Cashman mangas? I'll probably check out Cashman. From the small stuff that I've seen, it really does interest me, so I will give Cashman a look. I've got Jarko. I actually bought a copy of Jarko, so I'm going to give that another close-up read. I want to read the physical version. George J, what if young Roshi traveled to the future? He'd probably be happy to know that he was still around, and then probably be really confused as to why he's a hermit, because young Roshi's like, no way, man, I'm like a playboy. I want to be in the city and get to know ladies and stuff like that. He'd be very confused, and then ultimately the present Roshi would then have to teach his past self about this path and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There is a time and a place to be, with the ladies. But for the most part, if you want to live a long life to have opportunities, you gotta follow my edict, kid.
Oh gosh. That just makes me think like Roshi's explaining to young Roshi why they aren't the top of the food chain anymore, and it's just like, well, your power kind of peters out after a little bit and you plateau. All of the other fighters, they're doing all these crazy things, and you got aliens and all this other stuff. Your potential, there's just not a lot of it left. Like Yamcha. I don't know what this Yamcha is, but it sounds disappointing.
Yeah. It really does. All right. Okay. Gobi. What if Saiyans had cetus inversus? Dang it, Gobi. Why are you getting all so metaphysical and stuff like that? But anyway, cetus inversus is a congenital condition in which the major visceral organs are reversed or mirrored from their normal positions. The normal arrangement of internal organs is known as... Oh, okay, so basically, someone's done, like, flip horizontal, almost.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so basically, I don't think it would actually really do much. Probably just maybe slight variation in terms of battle styles to then protect the heart a bit more. Maybe. You certainly sleep on your right, so that means you wouldn't get acid reflux in the middle of the night. Saiyans don't like acid reflux.
It would also mean that anybody, if it's true of anybody who is also a hybrid, it would mean that their heart would be in the wrong position by just a little bit. So if, say, Cell or Frieza were to attempt to shoot somebody with a death ray, with a death beam in the heart, there's a good chance that they might miss, and it may be a less fatal injury.
That is true. That is very true. Craig Twitchell, what if the Teletubbies fused with the Care Bears? Let's save that one for Hab too. Alright, I will put that in our thing, because that means you can just... Yeah, we can just have Hab going like, no. Why? Why? No.
No.
No, just no. No. Why? Alright, Joey V. What if Piccolo didn't become mostly irrelevant? Right? I mean, the thing is, though, he had some kind of thing in the Universe 6 tournament, but then he sort of stopped. And then Tournament of Power, he had some decent games, but then forgot he had stretchy arms at the right possible moment. I imagine, and the Moro arc does really good with bringing Namekians into the foreground, but again, it just stops short. Piccolo's not entirely irrelevant, but he could have done more. Let's just say that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, everybody, I'd like to say now that the super chats are now closed. Thank you so much for your submissions. We are now going to be getting through these, so thank you very much for them. Thank you. Okay, Manifesto. What if Miras and Moro were actually, or instead, the God and Angel duo before Whis and Beerus took those jobs a long time ago? That was a past theory also. To be honest, I actually thought that too at the beginning of the Moro arc. Like, that maybe these were like the, it was like they were the previous Angel and God, and Moro didn't retire gracefully and basically just did not concede his power and became just this maniacal force that the Galactic Patrol had to kind of deal with. So basically he would just not concede. He would just say, like, I'm still totally this powerful guy no matter what you say. My time is not done. So that is until Mira shows up and basically becomes a good cop.
That would at least give like an explanation as to why a character like Moro or why a character like Miras have all of these different personality quirks and abilities that like nobody in the universe had ever really been privy to or seen before. And if it had turned out that their origins were as a God and Angel respectively, it would at least give them an intriguing backstory, and it would really make for good
parallelism to Beerus and Whis, especially considering the fact that Beerus himself, there's a lot of implications that Whis is seeking to replace Beerus because he doesn't make a very good God of Destruction.
He really doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. Next one is Gobi. Next one be Gobi. Is what if Goku instead had given Moro half a sensu? What if, with the intention of not fully healing him out of pragmatic distrust, only for him to miscalculate and underestimate Moro's guile in spite of only recovering by half? Well, it certainly wouldn't have been enough for him to basically then kind of reattach his arms and stuff like that, but it would certainly be enough to kind of, like, make him mobile again and, like, you know, still, yeah, pain in the bum. It's like, and it's just, I think people would be more confused as to why he only gave him half a sensu bean. Slightly more relieved, but still confused. Certainly very, like, as in, like, why? Why only half? So it'd just be a bit of an odd choice, so to speak.
I'm only giving him half a sensu, which means it's only half a mistake. See? I've learned from what happened with Cell.
I remember, guys. Yeah, I'm only going to give him half. Red Dragon Force 2. Chilled. Ah! After 10,000 years, I'm free! Time to conquer the universe! Frieza, respect the reference. I respect the reference, but I did it first. Chilled. And then Frieza's just like, cash. I just love the thing. You know, hey you, what year is it? 2222 BC or AD. The hell are those? I can't believe that was Gong Jimba. Like, Gong Jimba, the most serious guy I know on the team, and he plays Lord Chilled. It's such a paradox. It's so weird. The guy who plays Ten Shinhan and Lord Chilled.
Well,
Good range,
sometimes
good range.
people, yeah, I was gonna say, it just shows that some people have incredibly good range.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not dissing him. I'm impressed. Gobi, what if Goku had been turned into a bird in front of 16? 16 would have just been standing there. I am extremely confused. Do I wish to destroy life or nurture it in forgiveness of its new manifestation? He just, and 16 would have just stood there for ages trying to think about this metaphysical dichotomy. And just like kind of just go like,
5 years later,
I've decided that I will kill Son Goku.
Oh no,
even
it's
if he is
died.
a bird.
It's like, oh
I
no,
want
it's
to.
died of old age.
Oh,
Oh.
the bird's already dead.
Oh dear.
Mission accomplished.
Well, back to primary directive. Son Goku has been eliminated. Oh, okay. Next one is One Piece Thunder 23. Hi, Masako. What if Goku killed Master Roshi during the 21st tournament? Do you think that would send him down a darker, more violent, less merciful path? Well, I imagine probably it would have sort of been like, what if Goku defeated Roshi? But then everybody would have just immediately shunned him. I was like, why would you ended him right there? Unless Jackie Chun had that as an intention of passing it to the new generation. But he'd never do that. It'd be Goku.
It would have been an accident.
Yes, it would have been an
Goku would have never killed an opponent in the tournament on purpose. So maybe if it was a scenario where, like, due to the strain of the fight, in much the same way that, like, the strain of using the Mafaba is able to kill Roshi, even though he's ostensibly, quote unquote, immortal. Maybe the strain of the fight gets so intense that Roshi has some kind of, like, heart problem or something like that, and he winds up dying because of overexertion or some kind of complication. I feel like that would be a scenario where if Goku became the de facto champion
because like Roshi suffers heart failure in the ring, right?
Mhm.
A, he would hate it because he wouldn't feel like he'd earned it. According to Red Dragon Force, it could have been when he was Ozaru. That could have been the accidental incident that would kill him. That would kill Roshi. Okay, well, that makes the guilt even worse because this scenario, okay, well, first off, he wouldn't be awarded the champion's title because obviously they wouldn't know how to approach whether or not that was a purposeful like murder, right?
Yeah.
So like he wouldn't get the champion's title. He'd be torn up with guilt on account of the fact that confronted with the fact that he transformed into a giant monster that killed Roshi and the memory of what happened to his grandpa Gohan, that would probably cause him a lot of trauma. The people around him, even his friends, would probably be a little bit ill at ease, even if they still supported him. So I think it's a little dark for a shonen of this type, but I mean, it would make for an interesting psychological foray into a narrative about how he copes until Raditz shows up and ruins everything.
Yeah, absolutely. As in, like, you know, it just goes to show, like, everything, you know, is like that is until Raditz shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh. Okay, next one is Timothy Ron. No, Gobi, sorry. It's I know Dragon Ball revolves around fighting, but what if Ultra Instinct had connections with Tendon Befriend Instinct alongside Fight or Flight Instinct? Well, probably just be like along the lines of Goku's instinctive "now say you're sorry and I will forgive you," sort of along those lines. So it'd be sort of associated with that, put simply. Timothy Ron, what if the Saiyans created the fusion technique? Well, you certainly would have had a lot more Saiyans fusing together, and that would actually make them pretty formidable. So it would certainly have just made things a little bit more kind of like interesting in that regard. But fusion would have been vastly overused, and it would be nowhere near as hype-worthy as it is now. Like, it would be commonplace. Cinderbat, but what if Zarbon and Dodoria survived? Oh, I can imagine them being like Lord Zed and Rita almost, or like, oh, I forget the other minions of Goldar, and like I can imagine.
Oh, Watto and shoot, what the heck's the other one's name?
Well, it doesn't matter, but just like those guys, you know, and like and Dodoria's just like, yeah, I'm gonna be getting this thing, and just like being like Goldar. I know somebody who does a perfect Goldar voice.
And I used to be able to do it before I started taking my medication.
It's just yeah, it's just it's a lot of fun to do. I like Goldar. I like Goldar as a kid. That was great.
Yeah.
Great. But if they did survive, I probably imagine they would have probably been like roaming around space, trying to survive, only being together out of necessity. Finster and Babu. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought Watto.
But either way, Zarbon and Dodoria probably would have like Paparazzi just said Goldar, Rita, Revolta, Squat, Babu, Finster, Scorpina. Oh yeah, Scorpina. That made very loads of boys very confused back in the day.
Scorpina was an interesting one, and I feel like she had a larger presence in the
Sentai.
I feel like she had a larger presence in the Sentai.
But I think everyone prefers Divatox.
Depends on if you're talking movie Divatox or show Divatox.
Oh, movie Divatox. I just love that scene where Rita's just in bed and like Divatox is just like, like, what? The Power Rangers! And it's just like Zed's just fast asleep and just like, my advice, Divatox, run! It was so funny. Oh, that was funny. That must have been you get dressed up as Rita Repulsar. The only thing you do is lie on a bed. Right. I wonder what the actress from Rita Repulsa is doing nowadays.
I know that she's still gone to things like Power Morphicon and stuff like that, and she still does the voice. It's
of course, yeah. At this point, you've got to be in it. Like you can't just deny it after this long time. And Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is still a thing that everyone loves. It would be career suicide to not go to those conventions and engage with the community. I imagine at this point, they obviously meet at conventions all the time. They're all friends, and basically, it's the convention gig. I remember going to a convention, and there were loads of Star Wars actors, and these were like, people who played extras. And I shared a cab with them. I mean, this woman was very snooty about me, basically thought beneath me, basically. Yeah, and why are you here? Basically. And I said, oh, I do videos on the internet, Mom. I said, oh, yes. And then it says, oh, and then basically they all meet. All the actors met from their extras from Star Wars. They all knew each other, and they all circled around Dave Prowse, the physical actor for Darth Vader. So they all knew him. God rest his soul. And it was nice, and it just made me think, man. With the Team 4-Star guys, I hope we're like that in our 60s and 70s, still doing conventions and just having a nice time, going out to dinner and just meeting fans. It'd be really sweet. I'd like that. That'd be nice. Us and our fans, we all grow old together. That'd be sweet. Okay, next one is 28 days later. What if future Trunks took present time 17 and 18 to the history of Trunks timeline to show them their evil counterparts? I think we had this one before, but I feel like probably they'd be horrified as to how they turned out. Like, they would sort of get it. Like, yeah, once we thought this way, but we never actually, got around to killing people. We just wanted to do what we wanted. Like, they had that initial freedom, but the future androids basically just took it one step further. So along those lines. Manifesto.
Real quick, Moss. Vulcan wants to know if you want that link to that Gohan and Rasa fic.
I think Sophie wants it more than I do, but I won't say
I
no.
want it more than Moss wants.
I won't say no. But I think Sophie really wants it more than I do.
I'm super curious about it. If I read this and it turns out to be disappointing, I'm never gonna forgive you. No, not really, but I'm super curious. I'm so curious.
No, well, okay, but yeah, thanks for sharing, Vulcan.
Yeah, thank you.
Manifesto, and me. There is no Dragon Ball GT. Moving on. Lol. And it's just like, oh, guys. I mean, don't be that mean. I think GT is worth mentioning. And Cinderbat was the one that said, what if Zarbon Dodoria survived, incidentally. I got that one mixed up. We did do that one, but I basically got the name wrong. My bad.
Yeah.
It was Cinderbat.
Did we skip over the one by 28 days later? The future.
No, that's the one we just did.
Oh, okay.
No worries.
I'm all mixed up now.
Nah, I got a bit mixed up because we went on a Power Rangers rant.
we went on the Power Rangers.
Okay, next one is Craig Twitcher. What if Raditz and Nappa switched roles in the story? Probably would have been interesting for, like, the conversations that Raditz would have had with Vegeta about Goku, and then basically just seeing them. And I think, Goku seeing his brother that he realized he only just met and had fought, and realized, hey, you're kind of pretty strong. Shame that you actually, had to be, shame you have to be evil. And then Vegeta killing him. I think Goku would, he wouldn't necessarily be distraught, but he would certainly be affected by it. It would certainly have more of an emotional impact with him with Nappa. But not like, no, how dare you kill my brother? And stuff like that. Okay. Okay, next one is Red Dragon Force. Any plans on continuing Meg's Guinea novel reading? Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just giving it a bit of time. I usually give it about like 2 or 3 months between each one to have like plenty of chapters to read. So don't worry, I will be doing more of those. And I don't think Meg would ever forgive me if I didn't. Well, especially considering that she's sort of part of the indirect part of the writing crew, part of the gang, so part of the posse, part of my posse, definitely. Good writing chops on Meg. Sam Hennis, what if Raditz saw Gohan's potential that he believed him to be the legendary Super Saiyan? Thus he kidnaps him and goes AWOL, disappearing into space. Probably would be sort of similar to with Piccolo, in that, Gohan would to get Raditz would say, "Fine, if you just cease your crying, I will take you back to visit your parents." Because it wouldn't matter, because by the time they'd be strong enough and it would be enough to calm him down. It probably would soften Raditz a little bit, because Raditz would be immediately more chill, because he's free from Frieza's influence, he's gone rogue, and he's not got the eyes of Frieza behind his, breathing down his neck. Nor with Vegeta. He's his own person and is quite a lot stronger than the average Mook. So I think he'd be a bit more confident. He'd be able to keep up that illusion with Gohan a bit more, certainly. Okay, Vulcan. We've actually got quite a few of these. What color gi would Sharpener, Videl, and Irasa have? Irasa, light green. Videl, sort of a dark blue to be like with Gohan, and Sharpener, probably white, like kind of off-white almost. And then 2 what-if ideas. What if Piccolo kidnapped Videl and Gohan? And what if Gohan met Videl early in the Saiyan arc or the Cell games? Probably they would have ended up being sort of childhood friends in a way, or childhood rivals, sort of. And if Piccolo kidnapped Videl and Gohan, probably just would have been more of a connection, relatability about that time when they were in the wilderness as children. Yeah, sort of camaraderie that stays with you for life, almost. They'd be solid friends if they were. Certainly, because that would do a lot to you. Craig Twitchell, what if Raditz and Nappa fused? You'd have Radipa. You'd have basically this tall guy with massive hair and a lovely moustache.
Naditz.
Naditz. That's Naditz, Chief.
Isn't the name that they give him in the Fusions game Nats? I always thought
it was Nats.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's a little bit too truncated for my liking.
Yeah, it's too truncated for my liking too.
Sam had part 2 to that Raditz thing. Part 2. Raditz raises Gohan as his son, as not seen in years. When they're finally found by Goku, they are both Super Saiyan and Gohan is evil. Kinda. I imagine probably neutral evil. They don't go out of their way to destroy people's lives, but they're not exactly merciful. Nor are they willing to help out with people. Selfish, I would say. Nothing along the lines of what Chi-Chi had in mind for her little boy. Paparacha. It's not just Boo, it's DBZ GT Pilaf equals Frieza. Baby Red Ribbon equals Cell. Super 17. Cell equals Super 17. Piccolo equals Boo. And then equals the Shadow Dragons. Yeah. That's the thing. As we were saying, it's all derivative. It really is.
Yeah. So much of the series is derivative, and it's so much more derivative than other series out there.
Yeah, a lot of people are okay with it. People are more okay with it than other series, let's just say.
Well, and that's the thing, is when the arc is done well, it doesn't matter quite so much if it was derivative. But it's when you're hitting these plot beats that basically make it to where the character development and stuff like that happened in previous arcs, sometimes in the very arcs that they are rehashing, then it becomes a problem. Like with this whole current thing with the Moro arc, right? The fact that he gives Moro a senzu bean, it's like, dude, you went through this character development already. You experienced the problem with this scenario already. Why have you reverted in your characterization at this specific point? It's purely just for the sake of progressing the plot along those same previous lines, and it's just like that is the bad aspect of the derivative stuff.
Yeah, that it yeah, just That is one of the things that it's one of the things we sort of have to put up with. Yeah, we can't deny it though. It's like it's part of just what makes Dragon Ball what it is, unfortunately. Okay. Next one is Alphadillo Gnaticus. Again, a name I absolutely dig. I really like that one.
You said that every
I do,
stream.
but Alphadillo Gnaticus is such a good name.
Ever since this person first started super chatting to us, every time you're just like, it's such a good name. It's such a good name.
It really is. It's such a good name. I really, really dig it.
Congratulations, Alphadillo Gnaticus. You've managed to really, really enthrall Masako with your name.
Yeah, you really have. So, props to you. And you're welcome, Alphadillo.
So their what if was
well, basically, I had this underlying thought when I finished Super a bit ago that the villain in Jiren's origin was Moro. So what if that? In a way, that would be a nice little connection. That Moro's just going around different multiverses and screwing around with people. So, you know, it'd be a nice little kind of twist. But personally, I believe that the Jiren's villain is Belmod. As if to kind of coerce, you know, Jiren to become a stronger, sort of part of his pawn and puppet. That's my personal theory. So I think it's Belmod basically trying to steer Jiren's life path.
I gotta tell you, Moss, your accent made that statement sound very strange.
How do you mean?
Because of how you pronounced pawn.
Pawn.
Yeah. You said he was trying to coerce Jiren to become a part of his pawn, and I was like, your accent, Moss, made that sound very odd.
How dare you? Rude. I
apologize.
I jest. It's all good.
I just thought I thought it was funny, and so I decided to remark on it. I do apologize.
No. It's perfectly understandable. Don't worry about it. Okay. Manifesto. Adult Ranch is picturing Trunks being gentlemanly and Princess carrying her and blushes. Ranch, are you okay? Ranch blushes. Nothing, Baka! She pushes him. And they both fall over.
Oh, yes. The classic tsundere.
I mean, like... and then Branch would just be, I wouldn't say no. just like, as in, like, you know, and I say, well, only if I get to do you afterwards. It's like, I say, okay, only if we can trade places afterwards. And then just Trunks is being, like, you know, held by, like, you know, Ranch, and it's like, this is just, I hope Dad doesn't see this. And it's
look, it's the return of Princess Trunks.
No, it would have been like, no, I really hope Dad doesn't see this. Raditz, oh, but I did! Oh, this is absolutely hilarious.
I've taken a picture for posterity.
AKA blackmail. Oh, now I can imagine, like, yeah. Again, I imagine Ranch is basically Noi from Dorehedoro. Like, seriously, proper brick. Proper brick and elegant. You can be both.
Absolutely, you can be both. Yeah.
Okay, Sam Hennis. What if Kid Buu inadvertently made Janemba and they fight? So if you had Well, hey, basically, Buu would be fighting himself because basically Janemba is a copy of Buu. So, I imagine it'd be a very incoherent fight. So basically, it's just like, Kid Buu is like, Janemba. and then just like, Janemba. And then Goku would just be, and Vegeta and Goku in the afterlife would just be, this is so annoying. At least talk our language.
Speak the common tongue of the universe, English!
And Dr. Brief's there. Yes, stop speaking your moon speak! No, but in it seriously, probably it would be an interesting fight, but I think Janemba would win out because of his like pocket dimension Lego teleportation. It'd be enough to kind of like just like really get under Boo's skin, certainly. Yash Beguri did the manga UK quiz. Did not know it was based on Super more than Dragon Ball itself. I finished 6th place. Great quiz. Oh, cool. Well done, Yash. For those of you who don't know, if you go to Manga UK's Twitter, I've actually curated a quiz for them. So this is really cool. For Manga UK, a company I've been buying stuff like ever since I watched anime, and my brother did as before me. So this is cool. I'm curating a quiz with them. And
That is super awesome.
Oh no, it's great. And I actually have a tagline. Like I basically left like a message, sort of like Paul Hollywood would do, like in the Great British Baking Show. And I go, if you think this quiz is super easy, I say, then you'd be super wrong. So, hey, even if I'm working with legitimate companies, I'm still going to be cringy puns.
Play the big green Bardock sound, Mas.
I'm just glad. I'm glad that Yash, do let me know. What did you think of the quiz? I'd like to know because I did make it not like too easy. I made it quite challenging. I made it quite difficult actually. And no, the Manga UK people loved it. So yeah, no, Yash, do let me know. Alphadillo, good Atticus. Just want to say, 70 centimeter square window is the best Dragon Ball Super ending. Don't you see the best GT ending? I could not agree more, and that's not me being biased because of your name.
I am not as super familiar with like the endings and stuff like that on account of really only getting to experience because part of the problem that I have with watching anime online is that I tend to skip the OPs and EDs unless they really, really catch my attention right off the bat, like say Beastar's opening. But like GT especially, I wasn't exposed to GT in a format that permitted like watching the Japanese openings and endings because of how it aired on television here in the West. So maybe I should go and I should listen to some of these songs.
Yeah, no, actually, that 70 centimeter square window is the one where I did a couple with Mark DeGroot, and that's really? my most played song on Spotify. So obviously, it's a good one. It's a really good one. It's very unusual to Super, but it's the most emotive, certainly. Craig, what if Tien turned evil, and what if Chi-Chi turned evil? What if Chi-Chi turned evil? Then Gohan would not. Yeah, basically, she'd encourage for Gohan to take drugs. Like, God. And then Tien would just still be a douchebag assassin. There you go. That's quite simple.
Yeah, Tien, if he had stayed evil, would have essentially just been a Tao 2.0. Like, I feel like part of the reason why Tien got a redemption arc was actually because of the fact that since Tao Pai Pai was still alive, even if he had become a cyborg, having Tien be this bad guy that was basically the same as Tao just didn't work if that character was still around. And also just the redemption was the better narrative. As for Chi-Chi, I mean, Chi-Chi going evil is so strange to me because she really is such a pure character in my eyes. You know, as much crap as people give her, she really is a good-hearted character. And her going evil, I mean, the most that I could probably see would maybe be like seeing her become ambitious to the point of it becoming like a form of evil. Like if she was trying to push more of the issue of like ambition and stuff like that, like if she took her father's kingdom, if she took her father's kingdom, if when marrying Goku, if she managed to still marry Goku, if she was evil, that is, if she trained her child for villainy, it would make a very different sort of story, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Gobi, what if Moro sounded like General Woundwort from Watership Down in the 1978 film or the 1999 TV series? I don't know if his English accent is region specific. I need to actually hear that because I've actually never watched Watership Down. I've never seen it. But yeah, I'm just gonna play it. I'll. I don't want to be DMCA'd, but already I'm in the battle between Bigwig, and it's just like, oh my god! It's vicious.
Once I was trying to impress you. I hope I have.
Oh, it's like, oh yes, absolutely. Sort of along these things. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it would sort of be curious, but I feel like it's just like, oh, don't give him just a standard accent. We need to make him properly Scottish. It needs to be distinctive. And I'm glad that I'm seeing more and more people out there getting behind me on this. Like, more and more people are going like, yes, Moro needs to have a Scottish accent. I think I do have Sabbath's number. I think I do. But I don't know how.
Are you actually implying that you might call Sabbath in order to tell him, look, Moro needs to be Scottish?
I basically had it because I was at an English convention and it was like, oh, hey, it's like, you're one of the few people I know. Can I just, like, if I need any help, that'd be great. I had to rescue him from an English pub. Like, I saw the image of Sabbath was like, poor guy. So Philly and I, he was like, we just carried some stuff for him. It's like, oh, can you just, like, drop it off at our hotel and something? And then I just got a text from the, oh, hey, we're kind of lost and there's no food. Because he didn't know that pubs in England, especially in Cambridge, they close at 9 for food. So 9 p.m. can't have, they stop serving food. So he saw him with a packet of crisps in the corner, he and his cousin. And it was just like, hey, we're kind of hungry and we don't want room service, so do you know where someone to go? So fortunately, Philly had been studying in Cambridge the year before. And, it was, yeah, we managed to take him to a nice pub that does serve food, and we served him pizza burgers. So we stopped Sabbath from being starved. From starving. So that was a nice little story.
I love the idea of them saying, we're lost and there's no food.
Well, it's just because the pubs shut for food in Cambridge at 9 o'clock.
Oh, gosh.
No, that was a good story. That was definitely a good story. And, yeah. Oh, Billy Connolly as Moro. Oh, hey, I'm fighting Moro, and yes, I'm fighting this Goku guy. I don't know why I'm fighting him. It's just such a lazy ass. It's like, oh, Goku, what's your problem? Can't you see I'm Planet Eater Moro? I'm just gonna kick your ass no matter what. That'd be fun. That'd be funny. But nothing would get done. Okay, paparazzi. Yeah. Oh no, Yash Begari with a super chat, $50. Thank you so much, buddy. I found some of the questions quite tough. This is the quiz I curated, especially the one about the oldest angel and the first person to get eliminated in the TOP. I got the latter right while I pressed the wrong option for some of the easier ones like the number of angels and stuff. Alright. Anyway, for those of you, if you want a hint, Kusu is the oldest angel. Universe 10. And then Margarita is the youngest one, Universe 11.
Wait, so does that not include? Do you not include the Grand Priest in this selection?
Trick question. No, as in like it's multiple choice.
Andres Morero, do remember that super chat submissions are closed.
Yeah, so I know, but Yash, thank you so much anyway. Okay, we are getting through them quite quickly, so we do have plenty of decent time. Okay. Oh, 1 second. I'll be right back. But Sophie, I'll literally just be 1 minute. The next one, Paparazzi. What if you fixed and rewrote the episode of Bardock? Sophie, take it away.
Oh gosh, fixing and rewriting the episode of Bardock, it's difficult, mostly because of the fact that episode of Bardock is all over the place in terms of the establishment of characters like I don't know if they have a different terminology, but they're called I refer to them mostly mentally speaking as proto-Saiyans, the pre-Saiyan, ancestors. The idea of this place, first off, is very, very contradictory, considering the fact that, like, Saiyans are believed to have come from Sadala and migrated to Planet Plant, whereas this is a situation where Bardock winds up on, early Planet Plant and meets Proto Saiyans. If I was going to rewrite episode of Bardock, first off, if there's going to be time travel shenanigans, you don't want to send him too far back in time. Second of all, I wouldn't want to make it a situation that implies that that episode of Bardock is the origin of the legendary Super Saiyan legend, because that's kind of like the implication you get from episode of Bardock is that, oh, the actual legendary Super Saiyan had been Bardock the whole time, and it's like, no. You need to do something different. If you're gonna send Bardock back in time, especially back in time where you have a scenario where he's meeting progenitor Saiyans and all that other kind of stuff. First off, you don't make them goofy comedy relief aliens. You make them the OG. You make them the Saiyans that we were introduced to when King Kai was telling Goku about what the Saiyans were, right? You make them the OG. You make it to where he shows up in the middle of the war that a character like Yamoshi was participating in, right? And you make it a big deal. And honestly, I probably wouldn't even include an ancestor of Frieza in it, like Chilled, because I would want to make the story central to the Saiyans. Either a central Saiyan story or even a Saiyan Tuffle story, considering that we get so little about the Tuffles in the narrative of Dragon Ball. So
yeah, we really
those
do.
are kind of the steps I would take as far as constructing the narrative goes.
Well, from what I heard, I could definitely agree to that. I really could. Okay, next one is Paparazzi again. What if the Saiyans regrew tails when revived? Well, I imagine probably nowadays they probably just get it chopped off again because it really has kind of outlived its purpose and outstayed its welcome. It's just not part of who they are anymore. It's just not as relevant, you could say. Craig Twitchell. What if the Jiro and Bree families swap roles? It does work if you think about it. Next big what if. Well, sort of in a way. Well, it'd be just basically, it's Gabo and Goku traveling the planet for Dragon Balls, and then it's just evil Dr. Briefs with his daughter Bulma, creating androids.
Well, here's the big problems that I can kind of see coming up is that if you do keep it too similar, it winds up being more or less effectively very not so different from the main canon. But you're presented with a problem when you consider some other aspects, if the person that Goku meets is not Bulma, or more specifically is not a girl, then Yamcha has less reason to befriend the group, because part of the reason why he befriends the group at all is because he winds up sweet on Bulma. If it's Gabo is who you were calling him, I guess.
Yeah, that's the human name.
So if it's Gabo instead of Bulma who befriends Goku, you wind up with less possibility that Yamcha join the group. Furthermore, further down the road, when you actually get to the Red Ribbon Army arc in general, there's implication already established that the child of Jiro died. Whether it's like in DBZ Abridged, which implies that Goku was responsible for his death, or if it's a different way, that would basically mean that Bulma dies. And the only place you would wind up seeing a Bulma lookalike would be in the Android Saga, because she would obviously, her form, at least her appearance, would be replacing the physical Android 16. But you're presented with a whole slew of other problems, because the character of future Trunks would change irreversibly, because it would wind up not being Gabo's child. First off, you'd have to ask yourself, okay, well, who's Gabo getting paired with, if anyone? And if not paired with somebody, what does that mean for the person who gets sent back in time?
okay, well maybe it's maybe Gabo takes after Jiro after a fashion and is good with robotics. So maybe the character of Trunks is an android or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But it creates so many of these small changes and large changes in the narrative for the characters specifically that you kind of get lost along the way. And I don't know if it would be all that interesting compared to the regular story is the biggest question.
Yeah. No, it's there is that kind of concern. Okay. Next one is Vulcan. What if Yardrathian saved Bardock from freeze? Oh, okay. Again, this is a lot of them. Vulcan has multiple ones. What if Yardrathian saved Bardock from Frieza's supernova? Well, if they were able to transmit, but the thing is that they can't because Pibara basically says they are basically bound to their own planet, aside from like emergencies. So they'd have to have some very good reason to save Bardock from that.
And would they even know?
Yeah. There'd have to be some kind of premonition that Pibara somehow got, like somehow.
Yeah.
Okay. What if Tenshinhan became an android? Probably would be like as almost the last resort or against his will or something like that. Probably really powerful, focused, and all that stuff. And then, how is Gohan and Bra's relationship in the Goku married Bulma what if? I really need to get back to that. I've forgotten a lot, so I need to go back to my notes. I imagine probably good, because I don't think that Bulma would have put up with two siblings duking it out with each other. Right. Manifesto. What if Vegeta trained Broly on skill and technique, while Goku trained Broly in power and intensity? A well-balanced fighter and fought more for righteous reasons. Yeah, I can imagine that Vegeta would want to have something to do with Broly. Or maybe, like, Goku would bring Vegeta one day and then to try and, like, get some, like, sparring partners and fighting different guys. So
if someone was going to mentor Broly, I would want it to be Gohan. Because they're so similar. I feel like if someone was going to actually be a mentor to Broly, I would want it to be a character that can relate to Broly in a lot of ways, you know, when it comes to the fact that he's got this deep-seated kind of rage inside of him that he has to try and keep quelled. That there is a certain degree of battle lust that is there, despite the fact that he would much rather just, you know, live and eat and just kind of chill. I think Gohan would fit a lot better than that. And if not Gohan because conferences, then maybe a character like Piccolo who could teach him spiritual and mental balance. Because the thing about balancing out the rage, the desire for vengeance, the desire for control, right, it's better found in characters that have achieved that kind of spiritual equilibrium like Piccolo does through meditation and the experiences that he has gone through as a character. I think Goku and Vegeta are probably the worst picks for Broly as far as potential mentor characters go. And honestly, I wouldn't want to see them training Broly anyways, because I am getting sick of Goku and Vegeta. I really am.
Oh. Okay. Sam Hennis. What if in Fusion Reborn, instead of some random Oni, the evil filter machine corrupted someone like King Piccolo or Raditz? That'd be kind of interesting, bringing King Piccolo and Raditz into relevance again. Basically, it manifested itself into that. Again, nice little bit of competition. It's a movie, so non-threatening. Could be some fun. Vulcan. Why does Oob have no impact in modern Dragon Ball? Because he's not born. He's only a child at the moment. He's yet to have his time at the end of Z.
Yeah. We haven't reached end of Z as an epilogue yet, and
at the moment he still doesn't know about his identity. So, you know, as far as he's concerned, he's just a little boy. Paparacha. What if the Saiyans were were-temmies instead of were-monkeys? Well, at least they'd want to have a good education, let's just say that. But it would be just complete anarchy. Like, absolute, total, massive anarchy. What if Red Dragon, on behalf of Caleb, What if fighter power levels are decided by RNG? Man, Raditz rolls a natural 20 and then gets the critical. It would certainly make things a little bit more interesting and unusual, but it would then become unpredictable and without logic. Like, Goku have bad rolls or something like that. It would be very, very unpredictable to the point where it would be like, well, there's nothing to go on and logic does not make sense. So, it's good for a tabletop campaign to add some intrigue, but for a main TV show, just to rely on chance and luck, a little bit iffy. And Papa Podo goes, guys, I'm sorry for being such a bad boy. Podo, you've certainly been a bit mischievous today. Okay, Lucky Vang, TFS Goku is going to beat Moro. I think TFS Goku would just beat Moro just because of his sheer stupidity. Like, Moro would just nope his way out of that one. Paparacha, what if Jiro converted himself into a cyborg right after Goku destroyed the Red Ribbon Army and went after Goku immediately? I mean, the thing is, though, the power difference between them would not be as big, and I feel like it would have been a fool's errand, because you saw what happened with Cyborg Tao. Cyborg Tao was meant to be the most sophisticated robot on the planet, and he was weak against everyone. So, going in immediately would have just been a fool's errand for Jiro. So the way he did it and bided his time was certainly a lot more effective. Craig Twitchell, speaking of Jiro, what if Jiro turned the sounds into androids? The sounds. Unless that's unless you're talking about the indie rock band. I'm afraid I don't know what you mean, Craig.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused as well.
Yeah, and I think Craig's left, so unfortunately I don't think we can get context for that one. But I'm sorry, Craig. Benjamin 2000. Crossover what if Goku's pod landed on Azeroth in the kingdom of Lordaeron and was raised by Arthas' younger sibling. Raditz shows up post-Cataclysm. Oh man, this is a time when I wished Hav was here. He'd know what to say, because he's a WoW player.
Yeah, and I am not, so...
Okay, well,
I cannot...
Benjamin, we will save this, we'll put this in our chat, and we will save this for Hav. So, Hav can get back to you on that one. Grey Twitchell again. What if King Piccolo got out during the Super? It'd be an interesting little interlude, but well, think about it. There'd be no Piccolo, and the power gaps would just be ridiculous. Like, he'd be like a 1-episode gag character at that point, with power minuscule in comparison to everyone else. Be a bit of a wasted opportunity, and of course, no Piccolo. Jared Glasspool. What if Krillin was and Yamcha was a Wolfman? Hey, Beastmen are common. There's no I'm not judging people who are Beastmen. It's their own personal choice. They want to get in on that fad. That's absolutely fine. So I imagine probably it'd just be a bit. It would make more sense when it comes to his power set, as it were. And Jared asking, what if Tatsumaki, alias the Tornado of Terror, was in Dragon Ball Z as a Z fighter? Could she get more powerful? Oh, Tatsumaki from One Punch Man.
Yeah.
Probably yes. Get more powerful. You know, and you'd have plenty of short jokes, and then Krillin would say, "Well, at least someone's in my predicament."
I think that mentally speaking, Tatsumaki is the kind of character that would never bother with physical training, because she is definitely a character who's over reliant on her Esper abilities. Her psychic powers are such and in such enormous. They're so enormous that I think that she wouldn't ever bother getting stronger physically, and I don't think that she would have any inclination to learn key manipulation or anything else, considering what she can already accomplish with her psychic abilities. Problem is, we don't have a good point of comparison for Esper characters in the universe of Dragon Ball, barring like Goldo. And I'm trying to think of any other Esper characters that show up, and I'm drawing a blank. But
seeing the kind of things that Tatsumaki accomplishes in One Punch Man, comparing it to Dragon Ball, I'd say that she's kind of in the boat of still ultimately being weaker than a lot of the core cast, barring like the humans and such like that. Because she has a very, very big jarring hole in her abilities, and that's the fact that she's got this small, physically frail body compared to her psychic abilities. So
no, agreed. Agreed. Sam Hennis. DBZ but with weapons. Goku keeps his power pole. Krillin uses nunchucks. Vegeta and the other Saiyans are like knights with broadswords, Frieza a rapier, etc. Yeah, I think those are good analogies, Sam. Rapier for Frieza, definitely. Frieza versus Silver Chariot, confirmed.
Yamcha used to use a weapon back in OG Dragon Ball. He had his scimitar. I've seen a lot of people utilize that in concept art for what if Trunks had been the child of Yamcha and Bulma, and they, instead of having the Tapion sword, he has Yamcha's old Desert Bandit scimitar. There's a couple little instances where you could do some interesting things with the kind of weaponry that you could give people if it had weapons. Kind of makes me think of Soul Calibur though, when you start to put a bit of a focus on the weapons.
Yeah. Papa Archer, what if Roshi was unknowingly Yamcha's father? That'd certainly be a bit of a twist, and would actually certainly give the idea about. It would certainly be. Roshi would be very disappointed that his own son was afraid of girls. What kind of son have I made in that you're not into the ladies? Well, I am into the ladies, sir, but I just don't know how to talk to them. Same difference to me. It's like, you clearly need training, kid. I'm just gonna train you out of pity. But yeah, it'd be a nice little ironic kind of thing. It skips a generation.
The biggest issue that I have with that idea is it's like Yamcha was like he was like Bulma's age, maybe a year or two older when they met, which means that Roshi, who's already well close to 300 years old at the time of OG Dragon Ball, not only got a woman with child, but he became a deadbeat. Because I mean, Yamcha isn't Yamcha if he doesn't have his orphan desert bandit backstory. So you'd have to write a scenario where Roshi gets with a woman who winds up pregnant and has the child. Roshi doesn't take care of the child. Yamcha is orphaned. He grows up to be the desert bandit, and then he finds out that this 300-year-old martial arts hermit is his biological father. I think he'd be a little bit like, I'm just gonna ignore that revelation.
Yeah. I think it would not be a revelation they'd necessarily want to have. Okay. Next one is. It's Yashbek Gary. Thank you very much for your extra super chat, by the way. And Benjamin 2000. What if Kami had God Key? Well, it's said in theory that like Kami can perceive God Key, like not necessarily have it, but you know he can process it and know what it is because he can sense Beerus and Whis and all that stuff. So if he actually had God Key in general, I imagine probably it would be like in a way that I don't think it would really make much of a difference, to be honest, because Kami's not meant to be strong. He has magic. He also has smarts, and he's meant to be an observer to not get involved. So I guess maybe it's just to be a different kind of training almost, and maybe like it'd be something he could teach Goku as a young adult. So maybe this would be a kind of the first sign towards God Key. But you wouldn't get a Super Saiyan God out of it. Craig Twitchell. What if Zamasu made a Broly black, a Gine black, and a Good Boy Cell black? Probably Broly, the same thing really, just with different power sets and stuff like that. Gine's thing would be a bit more tragic. Cell, hey, nice to have Cell back in. And then what if Ranch fused with Piccolo and Nappa? Oh man.
Oh god, that's
interesting.
That's interesting. Where did that thought come from?
And Nonch.
I'm sitting here. I'm just like trying to. What would those fusions
For
even
gags,
look like?
and probably it would just be Nappa with Ranch's hair. Oh no, wait! There's the Dragon Ball fusion generator!
Oh no!
There's the Dragon Ball fusion generator! And Ranch is in it!
Oh no!
I am going to do it right now!
Look at what you have done!
I am going to do this right now. I think I actually did it for a video. Ronpa! I've made Ronpa. Come on. Oh,
hold on. I have to bring up this. I have to bring up the stream screen if you're gonna show off what they look like, because I gotta see, but at the same time I'm terrified.
I'm gonna share the link. Go to that. It's Ronpa.
Oh no.
Oh, enjoy. Oh, definitely enjoy.
It's loading.
It's loading.
I'm nervous.
Yeah. Yeah, you have fun with that. Meanwhile, until Sophie's brain breaks, let's carry on.
Oh no!
There it is.
Oh god! Oh my god!
There it is. I left the link to everybody so you can all take a look at it.
Oh,
Cornell 101. Everyone asks what if Gohan kept training, but what about Videl? She learned to fly in a matter of days. That's potential there. Oh.
What a coincidence.
Well, you'll probably get your answer in a couple of weeks there, boyo. So, don't worry. So, don't worry. You will have your answer thing. And I'm getting Kaiju-kun, aka Nexus Mania from back in the day, to do the artwork for the thumbnail. So, definitely, certainly a bit different from your normal what if. And it's also something that Sophie and Hav are working with me on this. So this is a team effort from the RoundTable, straight from the RoundTable. And Paparazzi, so basically that, it says, Scorpina and Goldar had a kid, apparently, who redeemed Rita's counterpart, who was motivated by the loss of her son. Oh yeah, I think I vaguely remember that. Andres Morero. What if Chilled was someone of Moro's standing and detested great power, therefore using ingenuity and wit instead? Perfect foil for Frieza. We were great! It would certainly be nice that Chill was a bit more honorable, and be disgraced that Frieza was just so maniacal and like very crude. And it'd be nice little kind of, the way that we see Chilled is that he wouldn't necessarily be powerful, he'd just be annoying with Frieza. But Frieza can't kill him because he's family. It's like, yes, Frieza, you cannot get rid of me because we are family. And what did your puppy say about family? To not kill them. There we go. Now don't mind me. I'm just going to teach the others dance choreography. Don't mind me. It's fun to do that voice.
I could tell.
And then Andres Romero again. What if transformations and Zenkais worked in reverse, or someone wished for them to be inverted? Instead of getting stronger, they get weaker. Oh man, that would certainly be a bit like... Certainly if you didn't tell any of the Saiyans. If you didn't tell any of the Saiyans, that would be vicious.
Oh gosh.
It would certainly be like, oof.
We would probably have to play the sound, because if Zenkai's worked in reverse, Goku would have gotten weaker.
Yeah, I'm just going to play the sound again because that'd be very, very cool. Saiyans would have not really gotten far. Definitely. And Nick Dunny, what if Goku met Bardock and Orgini at the check-in station? Would this affect his relationship with Vegeta? Not really, because Goku doesn't really know who they are. And I don't think he'd get sentimental about it. He'd be like, huh, that's neat.
Oh, I just came up Oh, I just came up with a concept right off the top of my head.
Go for it. Go for it. Fire away.
King Yemma needed a secretary, so he chose from amongst the dead souls that he'd had from the check-in station, and what a coincidence! His secretary is Gine.
Oh.
And that's how she winds up meeting Goku in the check-in station.
Just like it's certainly unexpected. I definitely could. Oof, that would be fun.
It's a more comic situation, and they probably wouldn't have a whole lot. They probably wouldn't have a whole lot of time to talk and share with each other, but it would be interesting because she'd recognize him obviously because he looks just like Bardock, and they could interact a bit, and I'm gonna pronounce that Daike. Why would Bardock be selected as King Yemma's secretary? There's no way it would be Bardock who was the secretary. That would be funnier, but there's no way.
It would be a gag, and it's certainly something you wouldn't expect, but it would certainly be it would get a chuckle. It would certainly get a chuckle, that's for sure.
Oh man, that's right. Gine would have seen Raditz as well just before Goku showed up.
Oh, and then Raditz would have definitely known. Oh,
damn.
Oh man.
Now my heart hurts.
Oh dear. You did that to yourself, Soph.
I know.
Oh. Anyway, that's all from our What If Roundtable this week. This was a long one, and we had some really good fun ones. We also had some cursed ones and blurst ones as well. Thank you all so much for participating. Thank you again, Soph, for your hard work.
Thank you.
And look forward to the What If coming out on Saturday, as well as my review for Dragon Ball Super Chapter 66. It's the biggie, based on what we've seen from spoilers. I'm not going to say anything, but either way, it's going to be good. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for the review, and I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all staying safe out there. Thank you all so much for your contributions out there. It really, really is appreciating. So I'm really, really happy to really have you guys as part of the community. It's really, really cool. So once again, everyone, do take care out there. Hope you're doing well, and I shall see you again tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye.